Good afternoon, everybody. It is meteorologist Adrian weather forecast, and welcome back to the video, guys. Before I get to this video, guys, as you can see, my subscriber numbers is jumping a lot. It's getting closer and closer to 1,000 subscribers. We are about at 896 subscribers, guys. So go ahead and let me know in the comments if you want a shout out, because I will do a shout out video once I get to 1,000 subscribers, because that's my big goal. So just let me know in the comments if you actually want a shout out, and I want to try to get you in the list, but I don't know how many people will ask for that. But yeah, so guys, and also please do not forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And yeah, so guys, this is going to be a video about, again, as you can tell by the title, some more severe weather, but not exactly in the south. It's actually going to be occurring, actually the worst of it today will be parts of in the Midwest and Ohio Valley area and a part of the Northwest. So it's going to be a very rare sight to see, especially this early in the spring season. We're going to actually have some severe weather for possibly areas in the Northwest and possibly reaching to the Canada border. Very rare sight to see. Usually you don't see that until late June. And then it's going to start moving as we go in the next couple of days closer to the weekend. It's actually, of course, going to end up into parts of the south. And so, yeah. So let's check out the parts of the active alerts that have related with this. So the worst of these storms will be near the Chicago area and Indianapolis area. We have severe thunderstorm warnings for those counties in the orange that have those counties in the orange. From stretching from some counties in Illinois and Indiana, and then areas we have some severe thunderstorm watches in those pinkish kind of color. And then Chicago and Indianapolis will not have those right now, but that can totally change. And then we have special weather statement there. And then all the way in the north, we actually have some flood watches in effect and some wind advisories. And guys, all this is, if you saw my video yesterday, it's all related to these weird patterns that are occurring, which is involved with all that low pressure system. It's all going to happen with this low pressure system forming, and I'll show you guys in the radar so you guys know what I mean. So if we go to the next 6 hours, guys, you're going to see that low pressure system right there off the coast of the west, and that's going to bring quite a bit of rain and snow for the west, and that's going to bring some possible really damaging winds and rare severe weather from the Carolina to the Montana area. Very rare to see that, especially this early. And then again, that's going to bring that rare amount of rain into parts of the west or the Midwest, as all we're going to have 4 pressure systems that will come in the same area, which will bring rain in the same areas in the north. So it's going to have a lot of rain in the next couple of days for the north. It's going to be very rare. It's going to bring actually quite a good amount of snow too with the storm. So in the next 24 hours, we're going to have those strong storms stretching from the Indianapolis and Des Moines area. And this is where this big one's going to happen. This is where we're going to have the severe weather in the east or the eastern Montana area and near the Seattle area, and then we can have some snow in those mountain areas near the Idaho Falls in Carson City, Nevada. And we're going to have some possible severe weather. Very rare to see some severe weather in the Montana area and Idaho area. And then that's really going to bring some very heavy rain for the Dakota area in the eastern Montana area. And that's going to bring some more severe weather in the northern part of Idaho. So it's going to be very rare. It's going to take a turn, and it's going to take a weird turn to the south. So it's going to be a very weird storm. We usually don't see that this early in the season. And then we go into the Saturday area. We will have some really strong storms, some possible very severe weather for parts of the South Dakota and Minnesota area. If you're wondering why it's not having those orange and yellow colors for the severe weather, because this is not very detailed HRR radar. This is a general European model, but if you're in the very dark green, that's some possible severe weather threats, possible flooding. So it's very rare to see that in parts of South Dakota, and then that can bring some possible flooding for those areas that can get the light rain in Montana and Idaho. And then again, going to bring some snow in those mountain areas. Going to stretch all the way to the parts of the eastern coast. It's going to be coast to coast basically, which is again really rare. We go the next couple of days. It will bring in that very severe weather, and then it's going to bring those really strong storms in the south. So we're going to have some possible snow here, and then some possible flooding in the parts in the Midwest, and that will generate that moisture from all right. So sorry guys if you hear a dog barking in the neighborhood. It's very annoying. So with this low pressure system coming in from the west, and that pressure coming, or that moisture coming in from the south, it's going to generate quite a big storm. We're going to have that northern part, and then with that low pressure system, and then we're going to have the southern part with, again, which would be the most the worst of it, because again have that moisture instead of the low pressure system. So the areas that will get the most amount of severe weather will generally be those areas in the tornado alley, and those areas from not much north of Iowa will have the most severe weather because again, that moisture in that Gulf will have the strongest, and again, there will be stronger temperature or warmer temperatures in the south, which will generate stronger thunderstorms. So that brings really strong thunderstorms from the Oklahoma City area all the way to the Dallas area. Very strong storms. I can really tell how dark that green is. So that can be a possibility. Have some severe weather, and then that will again bring some very heavy rain for parts of those areas in the northern part of Wisconsin, Des Moines area, and the Minneapolis area. Going to bring some very heavy rain, and that's going to bring quite a big rainstorm stretching in from the Louisiana area, and then that's where we're going to have that second low pressure system to bring in some more rain for the west coast and possible flooding and feet of snow in the interior mountains. And that's where that rain will then move on into parts of the plains as this clears out. But as we go into the Sunday area, it's really going to be wet, a very wet Midwest and South. And then as we go into the Monday, it will bring some rain for parts of the Northeast and the Canada area. And then again, that next low pressure system will be bringing a lot of rain and snow for the Northwest. And then moving on into the East, it's going to move to the East, to parts of the plains in the Texas area, which will bring quite some more severe weather and a lot more rain heading to the Midwest, guys. So it's going to be a very strange May. Haven't seen one like this in forever, not in a long time. That where you see the Midwest and the Midwest and the Northwest get this much rain, as there's going to be some 4 low pressure systems that will bring some rare severe weather. So guys, this is going to be more of a today radar. So if you're focusing on the tomorrow, that's where you saw that radar before. I just want to show you guys the intensification of these strong storms. It is very rare to see this in Montana and very rare to see this in Washington. So since it's very cold up in the north, it's going to be a very scattered and complex storm, as it's going to be possibilities of having some scattered little bands. So some areas can actually get some bands about every 5 minutes, but we'll have that biggest band for parts of the northern Nevada area, and you can really see the storms intensify as they are getting very close to that snow near that Carson City, Nevada area. And then as we go into the overnight hours, we will have that more severe weather moving to the Idaho Falls area and into the northern Montana area. And then we have some possible flooding into the northern Washington area. And as we go more into the early morning tomorrow, possibilities of some really strong storms forming in the Idaho area, and then the Boise area can have some really strong storms and then scattered snow, and then the strongest will be near Helena, Montana. That can really bring in some powerful storms. And then as we go into the next 30 hours, which we'll get to the Saturday morning, really strong storms staying in the Idaho, Montana area, as that ridge is really going to keep that rain in there. If you saw my video yesterday, you really know what I mean. Alright, so let's check out the next radar. That includes the parts of the plains. And so if you guys are wondering why I'm not showing the South Centrals, because this is more of a general today, showing more the today, and that's where that radar before all this was in the next couple of days. But it's not going to arrive into the plains until these scattered little bands come into around next 7 to 6 hours, because it's really going to stay more in today in the northwest, but it can bring some more bands forming in near the Des Moines area, really powerful storms forming in the Iowa area, and then you see that really strong storms in the Montana area, and then that will bring some powerful, very strong bands actually possible in the southern South Dakota and northern Nebraska area, and then near the Bismarck area. a couple miles away from the Bismarck area in North Dakota. And then the next 33 hours, it's really going to bring some really powerful storms, guys, in South Dakota. Very rare to see this amount of severe weather. So that's why it is a very big deal to have this, as many people are not used to having this type of severe weather. But it's really going to bring some strong bands near that South Dakota area in the next couple of days. So, alright, sorry guys if you hear something outside. I really don't know what it is. It's like a chainsaw or something, but sorry if you guys hear that. It's very annoying. Did not plan on having that noise there. So today, it's going to actually be very spread out, these strong storms. This is what that low pressure system in the west coast is really going to affect. This may really going to bring that wet and severe weather more into the Midwest and plains instead of the South. But it's really going to change up this pattern that we were expecting. So the margin has a population of 28 million. A lot of states include more than 10 states are in that marginal risk. We have Detroit all the way to parts of the Pittsburgh, to all the way to the Omaha, to parts of the Helena, Montana area, to the Idaho Falls area, to the Salt Lake City area. Very widespread, up to about 1,500 miles possible of some marginal risk. So, and that's a population again 28 million. And we have Lexington, Louisville, Pittsburgh, Omaha, and all those cities. And then the slight chance is actually quite widespread too, especially more into the Midwest area and the plains, as they're really going to get those strong bands. As of the the West, we'll get more of that rain instead of severe weather. But then as we go into the overnight hours, we really saw those strong storms in Idaho. But we're gonna have Toledo, Ohio, Milwaukee, Columbus, Indianapolis, Chicago. Really don't see those names out there, and a slight chance that early. But it's a population of 30 million. So that's today. Let's go to tomorrow. Now tomorrow it's really gonna intensify, as we saw that radar and that last radar that went to 30 hours. It's really brought some big storms to the Nebraska and South Dakota area. But that marginal risk will actually stretch a bit more into the east and parts of the mid-Atlantic states. It's going to start get a bit calmer into the west, or they're just going to get more of that possible flooding area. But it's really going to have some really strong storms widespread from the from the Lincoln, Nebraska area all the way to parts of the Texas area. But let's talk about the marginal risk. So we have Chicago again, getting some severe weather. Columbus, Baltimore, Washington D.C., and Minneapolis. Minneapolis doesn't really see that slight chance, but it's just going to skin the Minneapolis area. Minneapolis might get in that slight chance. And then the slight chance will have Omaha, Lincoln, Lubbock, Sioux Falls, and Sioux City, Iowa. So that's where we're going to have that slight chance. And then the enhanced risk has the biggest chance of having that severe weather tomorrow. And that includes Abilene, Texas, Midland, Texas, Odessa, Texas, San Angelo, Texas, and Grand Island, Nebraska. So we have some really well-known cities in that small area in that enhanced risk, as they are very used to actually that severe weather. Now let's go into day 3, which will bring another heavy band, as we saw in that radar, that very dark green, which will go into the Texas area, near the Dallas area. But then we're going to have that marginal risk to be again to the Minneapolis area and the Madison, Wisconsin area. It might skin the Minneapolis area a bit closer to the slight chance though. But Minneapolis is going to get a lot of rain up there. But Minneapolis, Wichita, St. Louis, St. Paul, and Lincoln, Nebraska can actually get quite a bit of rain. And then we go, the slight chance includes Houston, San Antonio, Austin, Fort Worth, and Oklahoma City. And then we actually have Dallas in the enhanced risk. Haven't seen them in there quite a while. A population of 4,042,000 square miles. But we're going to have Dallas, Garland, Mesquite, Waco, and Kylene, Texas. Only about one city I know there, which is Dallas. But we're going to have quite a widespread area for the 2 to 3 chance of having a severe weather. Now let's check out really quick the amounts of rain, as people are wondering, the Midwest and North. How much rain can I see with this just one system, as there will be 3 systems right after it, which can bring feet, possibly, yes, feet, maybe just about a foot, but maybe possibly more than a foot for parts of the Midwest. So it's going to be a very strange May for those areas up north. It's going to be very strange and quiet up in the southeast. So it's going to start to swap that weather, as that low pressure system will bring a lot of rain into the California area. And just in the next 3 days, we can actually expect up to 3 to 3.5 inches in the Sierra Mountains. And then up into the San Francisco area and north of that, we can actually expect 4.5 inches. A good amount in the northern Idaho area, and that slight chance that can have about maybe 2.5 inches. And then a little band from South Dakota to Montana with about 1.5 inches to about 2. The most amount will be in the small little band stretching from these small little areas of Texas all the way to those big areas in the Midwest. So usually what you see is this big amount is up here and this small amount is right here, but it's fairly going to swap up, as Minneapolis, south of the Minneapolis area, can actually expect up to 5 inches, and then northern Wisconsin up to 3.5 to 4. And then that could bring about 2.5 inches to 3 inches in the Missouri and Kansas area. So it's going to bring quite a little amount of rain to the northeast, but could bring quite a bit of rain to coast. Now let's look at the Cape, as it's those areas in the north might want to know what the amount of energy we'll have. But as far as now, really low amounts for those northern parts of Idaho, 1,700, but that's still pretty high compared to what they usually get. But at the highest amount will be actually in the southern part of Illinois. Really don't see that often. We have 4,700 joules per kilogram, 4,900, and we're just missing that 5,000 mark. Then we have Springfield up to 2,600, Champaign up to 3,300, in Bloomington up to around the high 3,000, and Chicago is just going to be out there, but that's going to be stretching all the way to near the areas near the Tuscaloosa area in Alabama, 4,100 to below up to 3,200. The Memphis area at 2,300. Jackson, Tennessee, quite some high numbers in the high 2,000s, 3,500. And then near the Hopkinsville area in Kentucky, 3,500. And then near quite close to the St. Louis area, we have 3,800 at 5 p.m. Let's go to the 11 p.m. as these storms start to intensify as they go into parts near the Chicago area. So Chicago can probably have the highest number so far this year, 1,700. And then we have some high numbers close to the area at 3,100. And then those western parts of Indiana can actually have some high numbers with some high 3,000s. And then up into near the Springfield area can actually have 3,400. And then some pretty high numbers into parts of the southeast, including Alabama. But as we go tomorrow at 2 p.m., we're going to have quite some areas into the Ohio Valley, possibly getting some possible high numbers in northern Indianapolis, 3,200, to near those West Virginia mountains at 3,300. And then if we go near it, we can have some low 3,000s and low 3,000s and high 2,000s as tomorrow. But tomorrow at 8 p.m. we got some really high numbers up into the parts of the plains and southeast, south central, 4,000s. And then we have some really narrow winds up here near the Des Moines area. Possibly you can really see those narrow winds up there with some 3,000s in there near the Oklahoma City at 3,500. And then by we go tomorrow at 11 p.m., it will be quite a narrow area with some 3,000s up there, possibly 4,000s. And then tomorrow at 2 p.m., going to bring some scattered high numbers. And then by tomorrow 11 p.m., it will start to cool down. So guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Guys, I would really appreciate it if you do. See you guys in the next video, and bye.